Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about the carboxylic acid. And in this lesson, you are going to learn how can we classify the carboxylic acid, the naming of carboxylic acid, the common name and IUPAC name, and physical and chemical properties of the carboxylic acid. First, let's start.
Red ant venom, vinegar, and old rancid butter. What can they have in common? They each contain the same type of acid, organic acids. In order to see how the molecules of these acids are structured, we'll start with something simpler. In organic chemistry, hydrocarbons or alkanes form the basis of many compounds. If you replace one of the hydrogens with a hydroxy group, OH, you form an alcohol. This alcohol is formed from ethane. It's called ethanol. We're going to make one more change to this molecule. Let's replace the other two hydrogens with an oxygen. Wait! Now the carbon is only bonded to 3 atoms. Carbon atoms want to have 4 bonds. Yes, but look at the bond between the carbon and the oxygen. It's a double bond. Instead of just sharing 1 electron pair, this bond consists of 2 pairs of electrons. We started with ethane, which became ethanol. And now it is ethanoic acid. We can turn any alkane into an organic acid by replacing the 3 hydrogens at the end with 1 OH group and a double bonded oxygen. Methane becomes methanoic acid. Propane becomes propanoic acid. Then there is butanoic acid, pentanoic acid, and so on. This group, the C, the O, and the OH, have a special name. It's called a carboxyl group. The acids are also called carboxylic acids. When we write their chemical formula, we show that the 2 oxygens are different. One is attached to the carbon, and the other belongs to the hydroxy group. That's why we don't write the chemical formula of the carboxylic group with O2, but as COOH. The chemical names tell us how many carbon atoms the molecules have. Some of the acids also have older names that are still used. Ant venom contains methanoic acid, also known as formic acid. Vinegar contains ethanoic acid, also known as acetic acid. When butter is left at room temperature for too long, it starts forming foul-smelling butanoic or butyric acid. Why are these molecules acidic? An acid is something that can release hydrogen ions. And in the carboxyl
group, COOH, the hydrogen is only loosely attached. When the molecule loses a hydrogen, it becomes a negative ion. The ions have names that begin in the same way, but now their names end in -oate, methanoate, ethanoate, propanoate, and so on. Organic acids are weak acids. That means that most of the time the hydrogen stays with the molecule. The longer the carbon chain, the weaker the acid is. To summarize, organic acids are common in nature. Organic acids are also known as carboxylic acids. From COOH group of atoms, the carboxyl group. Their names show which hydrocarbon they are made from: methanoic, ethanoic, propanoic, butanoic, and so on. The hydrogen in the carboxyl group can leave the molecule. That's what makes these compounds acidic. When they lose a hydrogen, what's left is a negative ion with a name ending in O8, methanoate, ethanoate, and so on. The shorter the carbon chain is, the stronger the acid gets. So, which of these has the strongest acid?
First question, true or false? All organic substances are acids. No. False. True or false? The next question, carboxylic acid contains a group of atoms that we write as COOH, the carbonyl group. What acid is found in venom of ants? Remember, there is the formic acid, another name of the venom of ants, or we call methanoic acid, acid of ants. Organic acids are stronger than any other acids. Remember that organic acids are weak acids, and this is false. What is the name of the group of atoms with the chemical formula COOH? It's carboxyl group. In which of the following cases does a carbon atom form as many bonds as it wants to? When it has two double bonds, when it has two single bonds and one double bond, when it has three single bonds and one double bond, it's impossible to get 5 carbon atoms. When it has 4 single bonds. Why do we write the carboxyl group as COOH and not CO2H? To show that one of the oxygen atoms is alone and other is part of hydroxyl group. Propane contains 3 carbon atoms. Propanoic acid contains COOH group. How many carbon atoms does propanoic acid contain? CH2, CH3, COOH. In order to turn an alkane into carboxylic acid, 3 hydrogens need to be replaced by 3 hydroxyl group, 3 oxygen atom, 1 oxygen atom and 1 hydroxyl group. Which acid is the strongest of ethanoic acid and butanoic acid? The state of organic acid decreases by number of carbon atoms. And butanoic acid, no, here the number of, we have to look the first number of carbon atom. Here, as you see, here the ethanoic acid and butanoic acid here. And ethanoic acid, because it has 2 shortest carbon chain and both are just strong since they both contain 1 carboxyl group and COOH. Methane contains 4 hydrogen atoms. How many hydrogen atoms does methanoic acid contain? It means the formic acid HCOOH. And how many hydrogens? 2 hydrogens. What does it mean that methanoic acid is strongest of the carboxylic acids? The molecule has the largest number of hydrogen atoms. The hydrogen atom in the hydroxyl group can leave the molecule easily. The molecule has the lowest number of hydrogen. What is the chemical formula of the carboxyl group? The carboxyl group, COOH. Carbonic acid has the chemical formula H2CO3. This carbonic acid, it is not organic. Does it count as carboxylic acid? No. Why? It has too few oxygen atoms to be carboxylic acid. No, it isn't derived from the alkyl molecule. Which of these statements are correct about what is left when ethanoic acid molecule releases hydrogen ions? When ethanoic acid molecule releases hydrogen atom, the left is called ethanoate. What is the left is called ethanoic acid. What is left has positive charge. What's the left has negative charge. Yes, ethanoate and has negative charge. Okay, let's fill the blanks here. The organic, the class, the carboxylic acid is the organic compound that contains at least one carboxyl group. In this functional group, it contains a carbon atom that has a double bond to one oxygen atom and single bond to hydroxyl group. Here, as you see in figure here in the picture. In solution, remember, the hydrogen may break off from the carboxyl group and form carboxylate with ion, hydrogen ion, and incomplete dissociation in water. Yes, you learned the carboxylic acid classification and naming. Just start with the alkane name for the longest chain, including the carbon in carboxyl group. In carboxyl group, the number one always is carboxyl group. Drop the suffix from the root compound, and we have to add OIC acid. Here, let's write some example. HCOOH. How many carbon atom? Is one. In alkene, what is the name? Is methane. And instead of A, you have suffix. What is our suffix? OIC, acid. What is the name? Ethanoic acid. The next example, CH3COOH. Here, how many carbon atoms? Let's just say is here 1, 2, is ethane, and suffix instead of E is ethanoic acid or acetic acid. Common name. Acetophenolic acid now, and with the formic acid, the acid of ants. You know, if the ants bite you, feel some of the pain. This pain comes from this formic acid. Also, it is the strongest acid in carboxylic acid. Okay, let's write one more example here. C2H5COOH. How many carbon atoms here? 1, 2, and 3. And it's propane. And suffix instead of E, propanoic acid. Okay, let's try the next. COOH. How many carbon atoms here? Is 4 in total. In alkyl, what is the name? Is butane and butanoic. Is butanoic acid. This is not difficult. Yes, if the name is like this one, how can we name this compound? Remember, the number 1 is always this carbonyl group here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then the Ayurvedic rules, the first we have to choose the longest continuous chain here with 5 carbon atoms. And here we have the branch Cl. What is Cl? It's 3 chloro and pantanoic acid. Pantanoic acid. What is this? Is benzoic acid and 2-hydroxy, the non-2-hydroxy benzoic acid or salicylic acid. The naming, you finished, and drawing. How can we draw? Here, just one example. How can we draw for this? Let's try for 2,3-dimethyl butanoic acid. Is first we have to draw the carbon group here, because this carboxylic acid, And how many carbon atoms? Is 4. Here 1, 2, 3, and 4. On the second carbon atom, here 2, 3, 4. On the second carbon atom, and on the third carbon atom, we have methyl CH3 and CH3. These are all carbon atoms saturated with hydrogen atoms. Remember, each carbon atom forms 4 covalent bonds. Here, the last one we need 3 more and 3 hydrogens. Here, 1 more hydrogens, 1 more hydrogens. And what is the name of this compound? 2,3 dimethyl acid. Okay, here we have different. Let's see how can we do this structure. We have pentane, it means 5. D here is 2. OIC acid is carbonyl group, 2 carbonyl group in the structure of pentanedioic acid. How many carbons for pentane? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we have 2 carbonyl group here. OH. OH. Is another all saturated with hydrogen. Here we need 2 more hydrogens, 2 more hydrogens, and 2 more hydrogens. And this structure. Oh, like this. The next example here, we have cyclo and pentane, cyclopentane. Remember, the alkanes can form ring formation with 5 carbon atoms. Is cyclopentane and carboxylic acid. We have carboxyl group here. This is any site we can write here. Cyclopentane carboxylic acid. Just like this. Here we learned the introduction to the organic acid, the carboxylic acid, the naming, common name, aliphatic name, and how can draw the structure for carboxylic acid, and the properties of the carboxylic acid, just like the properties of the acid, the physical and the chemical properties of the carboxylic acid. And just let's talk about the chemical properties, the reactions, Here the esterification reaction and neutralization reaction is very important for the carboxylic acid. They can be formed the ester with alcohols and neutralization reaction with the bases. And common name is very important. Here is the common names for some carboxylic acid, which is citric acid, acetic acid, the oxalic acid, salicylic acid is malic acid found in apple. Here's some important carboxylic acid examples with common name and the IUPAC names. Where they are found, here are some examples. This just spirus lemon contains citric acid. Here is vitamin C, is ascorbic acid, or oxalic acid in tomato, tartaric acid in apple, lactic acid. This carboxyl group is found in also amino acids. Yes, the carboxyl in the form of lactic acid causes the burning sensation when exercising. The simplest carboxylic acid, formic acid. The formic acid was the first obtained by distillation of the ants. The police dogs can sense the presence of carboxylic acid in seaweed. Thank you for listening, and we finish today the carboxylic acid. See you in the next lesson. Thank you. Have a nice day.